Hey, it's Ran and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with part 2 to last week's handstand tutorial. If you haven't seen last week's video yet, then don't worry, you can watch this video first and then I will leave a link in the iCards and in the description below to last week's video. But for now, let's get into the tips and tricks to help you balance a handstand longer.
Before learning to balance a handstand, you must first learn how to kick up into one. The most common reason for not being able to kick up into a handstand is fear of falling. That's why I would recommend having a spot to help you get up that last bit of the way. That way your body can get used to the motion. Another thing I would recommend is to first learn how to do a front kickover or a flapjack on a trampoline. This way your body gets used to the feeling of falling over and your subconscious mind doesn't have that same fear of kicking up. Ankle snaps are also a great help when it comes to learning to kick up into a handstand. They allow you to learn the correct motion, as well as things like hand placement and gripping with your fingers, even if you can't kick up all the way. Once you've mastered kicking up, you must then learn the correct way to do a handstand. Make sure your hair is tied back. If your hair is loose, you'll have a harder time spotting and you risk stepping on it. In a handstand, you must make sure that your fingers are bent and gripping the ground. Make sure that your hands are about shoulder width apart. If they're too close, you'll have a hard time balancing, and if they're too far away, you won't be able to hold it. In regular handstand, your body should be straight and stiff, from your toes right down to your wrists, and you should be looking at the ground in front of you. When doing a handstand, you need to spot. For this, I would recommend putting a cross of tape down on the ground. That way you know exactly where to look. A straight handstand is actually one of the hardest type of handstands to balance for long periods of time. So I would recommend trying some of these alterations to see which one is best for you. An arch handstand looks quite similar to a straight handstand. A split handstand is where you have your two legs straight and in a split. A single stag handstand is where one leg is bent, and a double stag is where both are. This is generally considered the simplest handstand. Finally, I know this isn't the case for everyone, but I personally found that blocks allowed me to hold a straight handstand better. Once you've mastered your handstand against a wall, you then need to learn to get off wall. For this, I would recommend kicking up against the wall and then gently pushing off the wall and trying to find your balance for yourself. Equally, I would do these handstands a bit further away from the wall. That way you have time to catch yourself before falling onto it. The last and most important thing to remember is to practice, practice, practice. Whenever you can, practice. I would recommend having a free wall somewhere. That way, whenever you walk past, you can kick up. I did this and it allowed me to practice multiple times a day and therefore to improve my handstand. If you don't practice regularly, it doesn't matter what you do, you will never get your handstand. So, and I cannot emphasize this enough, practice regularly, as often as you can.
If you found this video helpful, then feel free to give it a like. If you know any other tips or tricks that I haven't mentioned in this video, or you have a video suggestion, then please leave those in the comments. To subscribe to my channel, click here. To watch part 1 of this tutorial, click here. And always remember, you are strong, you are beautiful, and you can be flexible too. Bye!